20 years. 20 long years. Israel groaned beneath the oppression of King Jabin, 900 iron chariots, an invincible army, Commander Sisera, whose very name made hearts tremble. Israel was defenseless, unarmed, forgotten by the world, but not by God. And God had a plan. This plan didn't start with a warrior, nor with a king or an army. Instead, it began with a woman. Deborah sat under a palm tree between Ramah and Bethel. She was a prophetess and a judge of Israel. In a world where women didn't rule, where men waged wars and made decisions, God chose her. The people came to her for wisdom, for counsel, for justice. She listened to God, and God spoke. In those days, God gave her a word, not comfort, not a promise of peace, a call to war. She sent for Barak, son of Abinoam, a military commander from Kadesh. When he arrived, Deborah looked into his eyes and spoke words that would change everything. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, commands. Go, march to Mount Tabor, and take with you 10,000 men. I will draw out Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his troops, and I will give him into your hands. 10,000 foot soldiers against 900 iron chariots, against a professional army, against a commander who had never known defeat. Barak heard, and fear rose in his heart. He looked at Deborah, at this woman through whom God spoke, and he said words that revealed his doubt. If you go with me, I will go, but if you don't go with me, I won't go. A warrior refusing to go alone, a man seeking strength in the presence of a woman, a man seeking strength in the presence of a woman. Not because she was strong, because God was with her. Deborah didn't rebuke him. She knew God uses the weak, the doubting, the imperfect. She nodded. I will go with you. But know this, on the path you are taking, the honor will not be yours. The Lord will deliver Sisera into the hands of a woman. The prophecy was given. Barak didn't understand it then. He thought Deborah would receive the glory. He didn't know God was preparing an entirely different ending. They gathered the army, 10,000 men, farmers, shepherds, common people without iron weapons, without armor, without experience, but with faith, with Deborah, with God. The days of preparation were tense. Barak watched his men training with wooden spears, their hands calloused from plows, not swords. He saw the doubt in their eyes. He saw the doubt in their eyes. How could they stand against iron, against the terror of Canaan? At night, Barak couldn't sleep. He stared into the darkness, imagining those 900 chariots bearing down on his farmers. The thunder of hooves, the screaming of iron wheels, the blood. He had led men before, but never into such impossible odds. His hands trembled when he thought of it. Deborah saw his fear. She sat with him one evening under the stars. "You're afraid," she said. Not a question, a statement. Barak nodded. "I'm leading them to slaughter. They trust me. And I'm taking them to die." "You're not leading them," Deborah replied quietly. "God is. You're just following. That's all he asks, not perfection, not courage you don't have, just obedience with whatever faith you can muster. Barak looked at her. And if we lose, then we lose. Then we lose obeying God. But we won't lose, not because of your strength, because of His. Sisera heard of the gathering. He laughed, gathered his 900 chariots, invincible weapons, iron monsters that crushed everything in their path, wheels fitted with spikes, horses trained to trample foot soldiers. This was a machine of death. Sisera was confident, arrogant. He had terrorized this region for 2 decades. No one had challenged him and lived. These Hebrew farmers would be sport. A few hours of entertainment before breakfast. He arrayed his army in the valley by the Kishon River, a wide plain. Perfect terrain for chariots. The worst possible ground for foot soldiers. Deborah stood on Mount Tabor beside Barak. Below, the chariots gleamed. Spears glittered. The enemy army rumbled. An impossible battle. She turned to Barak. Rise, for this is the day the Lord has given Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone ahead of you? Barak gave the signal. 10,000 men descended from the mountain, ran toward the iron, toward death, toward the impossible. Sisera saw them, gave the command. The chariots moved forward, and then the heavens opened. Thunder, lightning, rain poured down upon the valley. Not just rain, a deluge. Water cascaded from the sky so violently the earth couldn't absorb it. The Kishon River overflowed its banks. Water flooded the plain. And the chariots, Sisera's invincible weapons, became stuck. The iron wheels sank into mud. The horses couldn't pull. The chariots, built for speed, transformed into traps. Warriors inside couldn't escape. The mud held them fast. The enemy's strength became his destruction. Israel ran down, not against chariots, against an army trapped in mud, against panicking warriors, against an enemy God had already defeated. It was a slaughter, not because Israel was strong, because God fought for them. The storm raged, lightning struck, the river swelled higher, chariots overturned, men drowned. The greatest army in Canaan was destroyed, not by superior tactics, but by water and mud. Sisera saw the defeat. He jumped from his chariot, abandoned his weapons, abandoned his army, and ran. The commander who had terrorized Israel for 20 years fled like a coward, alone, without armor, without guards. Just a man running from the wrath of God. He ran toward the tents of the Kenatites, to allies, to a place where he thought he'd find refuge. A woman came out to meet him. Her name was Jael, wife of Heber the Kenite. She smiled, invited him in. "Come, my lord, come right in. Don't be afraid." Sisera entered. He was exhausted, terrified. He asked for water. She gave him milk. He lay down, asked her to guard the entrance. She covered him with a blanket. He fell asleep. A commander who thought he was saved. Jael took a tent peg, took a hammer, approached the sleeping Sisera, and with one strike drove the peg through his temple. The commander who had killed thousands was killed by a woman. In a tent, without a sword, without a battle. with a tent peg and hammer, the tools of a housewife. When Barak arrived pursuing Sisera, Jael came out to meet him. "Come, I will show you the man you're looking for." Barak entered, saw Sisera dead. The prophecy fulfilled. Not a male warrior who killed the commander, a woman in a tent. An impossible victory through an unexpected vessel. 20 years of oppression ended in one day. 900 chariots turned to piles of iron in the mud. An invincible army destroyed. An almighty commander lying dead by a woman's hand. God uses those the world underestimates. A prophetess. A doubting warrior. A woman in a tent. Not kings. Not heroes. Not perfect people. Ordinary. Weak. Flawed. Because when the weak win, everyone knows it was God. The impossible victory became reality, not through strength, through faith. You have your own impossible circumstances, your own 900 chariots. Your enemies seem invincible, your chances zero. But God hasn't changed. He still uses ordinary people, those the world underestimates, those who doubt but go anyway, those who have only a hammer and tent peg but possess obedience. Perhaps He's calling you